Hello. 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 Hello guys, welcome. Today we will see the part 2 training of the Django. Like today we will be first we will go through an you know speed recap of yesterday's like yesterday we have seen how to create a virtual environment and what is a we have seen what is a virtual environment and like uh, we have seen about the Django settings.py which contain all these settings and we have seen the views.py and we have created a test app a Django app and we have seen about the views.py and we have created a simple hello world, right? So yesterday we have seen how to return a simple string of hello world and this is the output of yesterday's program. Okay, now yesterday we tried to see how the template works, but we did not do that. And today we will be knowing much about the templates, and we will also uh, see little more things about models and database related stuff, like a little bit of the database. So yeah, so all right. Mm, First thing, in the settings.py, there is an templates and there is an directories. So like uh, here there is a list. Like this list contain the path where the Django searches for the templates where when a template is rendered. So we did not set up the directory yesterday. That's a reason we were not able to render the templates. Okay, yeah. So all right. So today will be like so we are in the 2.2 project and we see this is a manage.py through which we manage the entire Django project. Okay, yeah. So we have actually started running this server here and like uh, what we are doing currently here is we will be creating a directory called templates. Okay. like we'll be creating a directory called templates, and yeah, so and in the templates, we'll be creating an HTML file called hello.html. So, okay, so we are in the directory of templates, and we created an HTML file and with some basic HTML text, and we want to render the HTML file when the home page is fired. So like so this is the root directory of the Django project, where you have the manage.py, and the relative directory is the templates folder, right? So like we'll be adding a path from the root directory relatively. So it is templates, right? Yeah. So and in the view code, instead of just returning the HTTP response, now we will do something called as render to response, and the template name is hello.html. So we have actually started this server. So like here, refresh the page. Okay. Sorry, we did not save this. Yeah. Sorry. And yep. All right. So this is what, like, this text is now generated from the HTML. So like in the templates folder, we have the hello.html, and we have made some changes, and here we go. All right. So yes, we have done it. Like what we need to do when we want to render the templates is like uh, here in the settings.py, you need to give the directory which it need to scan for the templates, and the directory is the directory from the root project. So from the root project, in the tutu project, there is an directory of templates. So when you just give the templates here, like it refers to the root directory, path from the root directory. So yeah, and it can have multiple values. So it is an array of path, and we are giving it's only one path, that is the template directory. And in the template directory we have the hello.html, where you mention all the templates. And this is a very basic one, and you can all like even the Django templates are very powerful, like in the official documentation. If you see like the Django templates, like uh, here it can contain much of yeah. So like there are also a thing called as the uh, template tags, uh, like here, like we have a template called as the variable substitution. uh, like when you're actually in the template, you can customize this template, like here you can give some and when you give the variable as name, and in the views the second argument is a context object, like it is a dictionary of key value pairs. And if you give a name here, like it so see, like here, like this value has not the this value is not a static hard coded value. And like like this value is from the actual views, like this is a dynamic value. And you can do a lot of stuff, like you can do variable substitution, like where you can put placeholders for the variables, like the double bracket is a placeholder for the variable, and whatever the variable name you give, that forms the key here in the context, that gets substituted. So like uh, you can do that. And you can also like this is a variables where you will be substituting the values. And you can also do a lot of stuff, like if you have an array there, you can do filters on it. And there is also a comments. And like if you have a list, you also have the for loops, where you actually iterate through the list and display. Like actually what it happens at the back end is, like while rendering this view, okay, so while rendering this view, uh, it takes the HTML file, does all the processing at the back end, and the output is the HTML with all the modifications. Like here in the HTML, we specified here a placeholder. So like while before rendering the template, what the Django does is, like it scans the entire HTML page for all the placeholders and all other stuff, and it modifies the placeholders to have the actual values from the context. And like it modifies all the values, and it substitutes the value here, and that forms, and the substituted value and the newly generated value forms the actual HTML. Like if you see here, like view page source. So this is the source which the browser is getting. Like here, the value is being substituted. So like this entire HTML content is being generated by the Django after making all these substitutions. So that's how the template works. Like it's very powerful, and it supports two types of template. Like the Django has its own template mechanism. That's a template language which we are using. Like here, this templates can have two languages. This is a Django templates which we are currently using, and which is the default, and it also supports the support for the Jinja template engine as well. Like in the settings, here, like it can have the backend as the Django templates or the Jinja. Like Jinja 2, again, it's an powerful HTML generator. Like it's not fixed to HTML. Like it has its own stuff. Like the Jinja 2 itself has its template rendering system. Like like here, like you can do the for loops, if else decision making, and all of this stuff. Like you can go through this documentation here, Jinja 2, and about the Django templates. So this is how the Django templates work. And that's one of the thing which we want to discuss today. And yeah, next what we will be seeing is the models. So Django models is what we called as what generally we call it as is an ORM, like object relational mapping. Like Django, so at present Django supports only SQL by default. Like here in the database section, like we can provide what type of engine we want to use. Like we can use the MySQL database and Postgres and SQLite. By default, it comes with an SQLite, and if we want to do it with a MySQL or a Postgres database, you need to provide some more parameters here, such as like a database name and its address, username, password, and so on. Like you can find all this stuff here in this URL databases. Uh, and today, like we will go with the default SQL database. And yeah, so like today we are going to we are actually going to build an mm, we are actually going to build an to-do list, right? Like which contains like all the to-dos and whether it's done or not. Like, and we also have some methods like where we can mm, like mark a to-do as done, and we can add a new to-do, and we can delete a new to-do. Like so to-do list is something like this, like where you have the item and a mark showing whether the to-do is done or not. And you can also add a new to-do, and you can remove the things from the to-do list. Okay, so let's do it. First, we need to have a schema for this to-do database. And I'm sorry. So Django has the you need not go to a database, you need not create the tables, and you need not do any stuff. like Django does all that internally, provided you provide the models here. Django go through the models file and it does the SQL operations behind. Like you will never know what the things happen at the back end. Like something like if you want to do a to do, like I'm just creating a to do class which extends the model. So like class to do, and it extends the models dot model. We are extending the class, and here we actually provide the schema. Like for this to do list, what I am actually thinking to get started is we have an to do class, and we have a name is equal to, like it's models dot char field, and we should specify here length, and and we also want to make it as unique. So and we also have done, which is a Boolean field, whether like it says whether the task is done or not, like models dot Boolean field. That's it. So this is a basic simple schema which we want to design, and so whenever you do some modifications to the models.py, you need to say the Django that like we have made some changes and you need to make some modifications in the database. That's what it's called as the migration. Like here I'm closing this and stopping the server. Like Python manage.py make migrations. So when you say make migrations, what it does is it goes through all the models in all the installed apps, and it will check for any changes need to be made. Like here we can see like create model to do, and if you see here, like there is actually no database here, in a sense like it has prepared all the changes, but it did not make any migrations here. Okay, it did not apply any migrations here. Okay, so like when you say make migrations, it goes through the models and prepare all the changes what it needs to do, and when you actually want to apply those changes, then again you need to run a command of python manage.py migrate. Okay, now in this SQLite 3 database, you will have a table of to do. Like how it generally does is like it takes the name of the app name and its model name. So like if you see in the database, you will actually find the table name as like test app underscore to do. And when you say char field, it in the table it creates a column of name, and its data type is varchar with max length of 25, and it also has a column of done, which is boolean. Okay, now we have a database. We need to have database operations on it. Okay, so how we will do that? Like first, like we do all the database operations on this to do object. Like when you say like something like to do dot create, it creates a new entry uh, in the database. And when you say something like to do dot filter, it runs this select queries, and like it uh, does a query in the database, and like it returns you the results, something like that. Like we will look into it. And now like we want to actually okay, now we want to write some views here showing like like using, we want to write some views where we can use the models. So something like whenever a URL trigger to add a to do item, we will take what is a name, and we will create the item in the database. So like okay, so now we are writing a new function of def add to do. Okay, so it takes a request object. So as I said, like every function in the view is a view function which takes an request object and returns an HTTP response object. Okay, so yeah, so we'll do that. Like here, what we are saying is like you know add to do like whenever we are calling any request, we can take the parameters as well for the request. Like whether it's a get or post, we can take the parameters from them. Like let's assume that the request which comes for the add to do is a get request. Okay, so like we want to take parameter of name. So okay, so what we want to actually do is like here in the database, if let's say if we have a something a URL called add add underscore add to do, and it's a get request, so you can send the data in the URL itself. Like you're saying like name is equal to learn learn models. Okay, so like this is a thing we are expecting. Like whenever we call the URL of add to do, and we send the data of name, it should create a new to do item for that name given here. So here add to do, like this is a request which we get, and we want the name here, right? So name is equal to request dot get dot get. So when we say get here, it's not a get method, it's a type of the data. Like every request can have multiple types. Like it can be either a get request or a post request or a delete request or something. Like assuming like whatever the browser, if we give any URL, it's a get request. So request dot get, and that get returns you a dictionary which contains the key value pairs. Now the key here is the name, and the value here is learn models. So Okay, request.get name, and present. Uh, okay, when we take a name, we want to create an entry in the database. So, like, we got the name which we want to create the to do for. So, how to create a to do is, like, first we need to import the to do object, and that's there in the models, right? So, from models, import to do, and you are creating a new to do object, right? Here, to do dot object dot create, and you need to specify the fields here, right? So it has name and done. So create, and name is equal to name, and done is equal to false. So what we are doing is, like, we are taking the name from the URL and we are creating a to-do object for it, and we are returning success. Return HTTP response of success. Alright, so to test this, we need to also have something like a get to dos. It actually, go to the database and get all the to dos and provide you. Okay, so what we actually want to do is something like, when you type here get to dos, it should get all the to dos and return you here. So something like get to dos and add to do. Okay, so here we go. Df get to do. Here it's an request object, and name is equal to sorry, so we don't have any parameters for the get to do object, right? So like here you should call as to do's is equal to do dot objects dot all. It returns all the to do's. Now a result is equal to empty dictionary, and for to do in to do's result, it should be actually a list, right? So it should be a list of dictionaries, where the dictionary name contains the actual to do name and done contains actual to do, whether the to do is done or not. So result of result dot append a empty dictionary, and here the name is the to do dot name, and done is to do dot done. All right, guys. So what we are doing here is, we are building up an results, which is a dictionary, and each item in the dictionary is, which is a list, and each item in the list is a dictionary. It's a dictionary where the name contain the to do name, and done contain whether the to do is done or not. Okay, so, and we should we are something like we are importing JSON, and And what we are actually doing here is like we are returning an HTTP response, and here it's JSON dot dumps of result. So we are converting that into a JSON string, and we are sending it to an HTTP response. All right. So let's say this, like when we do something like URL, okay, one thing is pending is okay. One thing which we haven't yet done is like we did not have the URL regular expression for the views. So we have the views, but we did not you know call the regular expression. Okay. So okay. So we are creating an URL, and regular expression is beginning of the line add to do, okay? And the method is like okay, import add to do and get to do's. Okay, so add to do, and so what we are saying is like whenever any regular expression of such kind like add to do comes, like you should redirect it to this view. Remember yesterday, like we said, like like the Django uses the regular expressions to bind the view functions to the URLs, and here URL of regular expression of like okay, get to do's is binded to get to do. Okay, all right. So we are saving this. We have saved all the files, and we are running the project. What happened? Unhandled exception for where? No module name models. And what's happening? The views from okay, we need to give the app name. So from app dot models, you need to import the to-do. Okay, all right. Yeah. So now we don't have any errors, and we are adding in to do. All right, we got it success. So and we are actually adding some more like learn view JS, and here get to do's get is it correct? Like what is the URL expression we have given is okay. It's get to dos, no underscore. All right, here we go. Like now, when you have called the get to dos from the database, it has actually fetched the to dos and it returned. And here, like here, if you want to have something like you know learn HTML, it returns success and refresh the page, you got it. So learn HTML, you got this. So this is how it works. Like generally how it works is like when you have something in the models, you define the schema for it, and in the okay, all right. So what we have done is like yeah, we wrote a method for add to dos and get to dos, and we can also write the method to some delete a to do, and you can also write the method like where if you give a to do name, it changes the status of you know do of it changes the status of done to true or false. Okay, you can do all the stuff, and like I have actually written the code for that, and I will show you how it works. Okay, so git branch. Okay, all right, guys. So what we are doing is like I have the all full code now. So I'm just starting the server. No, first I should make migrations. Okay. Uh, okay. So okay, all right. So Python manager 5 runs server. Okay, I'm actually showing you the complete product. I've written some HTML Vue.js code to display the to-do app. Okay, so here this is the output. Like first we'll see how it works, and then like first we'll see what it does, and then we'll see how it works. So like here you are giving the to-dos like learn Vue.js. Okay, okay, all right. 1 second. There's a problem here. Like I'm seconds. Okay. Okay. All right. All right, guys. So, like, first we'll give you the demo of this work, and then we'll see how it actually works. Okay. So here we go. Like, first we are trying to add the to-dos. Learn Vue.js is one to-do, and learn Django and learn Python. Salary. And okay, these are all the list of to-dos. And when you refresh the browser, they're not going away. In a sense, they're actually, it's a state application. Like they're actually getting stored in database or some file. Okay, whatever, they're actually getting stored in the server. Okay, and you also have the option of marking the to-do as done, or you also can unmark the to-do, and you can delete a to-do. Okay. All right. So now first, like okay, now we will see a very beautiful task of how to debug the Django application. Like, if you see any Django application working, and if you want to see how it actually worked, then like, what's a way? Okay, now, like, this is a Django application working. Now we need to figure it out, like, how did it work? Okay, we'll see that. Okay, so like I'm opening the browser console, and in the network I'm saying, like, learn ABC. Okay, so when I add that, okay, here we go. It made an Ajax request in the backend, and it made to the URL of add to do, and the data it has sent is learn and ABC. Learn ABC. Okay, this learn ABC is the string which we are given. So what it is doing? It is calling an URL. It's a get request. It is calling an URL of add to do, and it is sending the data of learn ABC. That is the that is the data which we have given in the text box. So okay, now okay, what this code is doing is, it is taking the value which is given from the text box, and it is calling an Ajax request to the server of add to do URL with the data which we given in the text box. Now like let's see whether this if we do that from the browser, will it work or not. So we are just confirming whether that's way whether this application is working or not. Okay, so what we are doing is we are calling the same URL with the date of testing. Okay, it returns a method success. Now when I refresh the page here, ooh, we got it. So okay, we found one thing, that is like whenever you add some matter here, like, and when you click on the add button, it is calling for a URL of add to dos and sending the data as the name parameter. Okay, so here like abctad, abctad, who. Okay, now we came to know how it worked. So it called an URL of add to do and with a data variable of name and value of abctad. Okay, all right. So we'll check that application. So now, what's the first task? When we know any URL, what's a way we can find the uh, appropriate view function? Oh, so people who answered urls.py, they are right. So in the urls.py, we know that the URL has a regular expression of add to do here. Okay, and the add to do is calling the add underscore to do view function. When you go to the add underscore uh, to do view function, like it is taking the request object. See here, like it is taking the name from the get parameter, and what it is doing, like when we call to do dot objects dot filter of name, so it is fetching already existing to do objects with the name which we have given, and if that length is not equal to 0, then it is creating a to do. Okay, here we go. Like to make this unique, okay, so when you actually call of abctad, when you call this, okay, so when you call this, it's actually not failing and it is actually not storing twice. So because it is first trying to get all the to do objects and with the to do name, and if and only if the length is equal to 0, in a sense, like if the record does not exist, then it's trying to create the to do with the name. Okay, so just repeating to make it clear. So what we have found coming to this part of code is like whenever we add a new to do, it's making a URL call for add to do, and when we see the code here, like it's like it's first getting all the to dos, and if the to do does not exist, then it's trying to create. So it is ensuring that there are no duplicates for the to do objects. And now, so now I have a question, like how do we know about this to do? Okay, so here from testapp.models, so when you actually go to this models file, it's very similar to which it's exactly same which we have created in our first phase. So it's an to-do class which extends a model, and it has a name and it has a done, and name is an and the name is an character field, and it has a max length of 256, and it is ensuring that it's a unique, and it has done, which is like a Boolean field, and it has a default of false. Uh, Okay, so whenever you create an object and call the make migrations, it is actually creating an table in the database. And when you actually call, like here in the views, when you call the to-do.objects dot filter, it like it is something like executing a query such as like select star from to-dos where name is equal to the name which we have passed. It is what the filter does. So here we have the to-do.objects.create, which is actually creating the to-do. Okay, all right. So we now came to know how to check. We now came to know how it's working for a add to-do. Okay, so okay, all right. Now I have a question. Like when we refresh the page, how is the list getting rendered? That's the question. So I'll try to refresh the page and see what are the network calls happening. Okay, so we have a method called as a get to dos, and the response is this. Okay, now I'll try to replay that, or open a new tab. Whew. Yeah, so this is a URL which is calling when we initialize the page. So get to dos, it is returning all the to dos as a list of dictionaries, and the key is the name, and uh, value is the to do value, and done, false. Okay, same way. Okay, now quick, how to debug it. So like how to see where the code is. So go to urls.py. So get to dos, it has a method of get to dos, and click, you're here, and it's taking an empty array, and for O in to do.objects at all, it's getting all the to dos, and for each to do, it's taking the name and done, and building a dictionary here, and it's appending to the result list, and it is returning as an HTTP response. Wow. Okay, so we figured it out, like how the entire to dos are coming up here. Now, like what about marking it? Yeah, same way. See, change to do status is the URL which is called, and like learn Python name is the okay, name is the to do name, and status is maybe the status which they want to change for. Okay, so when you click when you check this, they are marking as to do as done, so like they're marking it as a true. So same way, let's go through it, and in the URL change to do status, like change to do status, when you see what's the method implements, and where is it here. uh, so okay, it's taking the request object, it's taking the name, and it's taking the status, and this is somewhat a tricky code. Oh, okay, so actually they are like they are sending it in as a true, right? So this is an JavaScript way where you write the true, all the small, and in Python you will write it in a first letter as a capital. So in Python you work it something like a capital TRUE. Okay, okay, so here Okay, this is a bad way of writing code, a whole huge logic in a single line. Okay, so what they are doing is they are taking the status and they are first checking whether that string is equal to true or not. Okay, so if the string is equal to true, like this yield this line results to a boolean true in Python if the string is true. So that boolean value is getting assigned to the status. So what they are actually doing is something like this. If ht is equal to true, then status is equal to true, else status is equal to false. Okay. Hmm? Sorry. Okay. This is the thing what they are doing. And there are some unnecessary prints here. Okay. And whenever you do something called print in the view functions, it gets printed in the console. See here a lot of ones. Print 1 into 100. So they're printing 100 times 1. Okay. So all right. So now how to check whether the code is the same or not? Okay, so once we complete reading this view function, we will try to run with the new code and we will see whether it's the same functionality or not. Okay, now they get the status here and they get the name, and they're getting the actual to-do object by the name, and here they are actually changing the status here. Record now this record point to the to do, so record dot done, so it's something like to do dot done is equal to status, and they're calling the save method. Okay, so why does this save method not called before? Because in whatever the methods we have seen so far, we're actually reading the to do objects, but we are not modifying the to do objects. Or in add to do, we are we are creating the new to do object, but we are not modifying an existing object. So like if you create or if you read only, you need not save, but if you modify any field here, something like this, then you should actually call save, and until and unless you don't call the save method, it does not apply in the database. Okay, now we have changed the code here, and the server is okay. We did not save it. See the dot mark here now. Okay, now the program is smart enough, so it has reloaded the project. Now just check the functionality whether it's working or not. Okay, it has marked it though, and oh yeah, so it status is changed. Okay, so it's working. So I guess that's the code which is doing here. This code is same as this code. Okay, so yeah, so we have gone to the change to do status, and it is getting the to do objects, changing the field, and calling the save method and returning success. Okay, so that's the reason whenever you are marking this, it's actually calling here, it's actually calling the change to do URL. Okay, what's our last one thing left is deleting a to do, right? Yeah, so we have seen how to add a to do, how to change the status of a to do, and So only one thing left is deleting a to-do. Oh, nice. I feel very happy when all the to-dos are done. We are clean. Okay. So we'll see how it's working. Same way. So it's calling the URL of delete to do, and it is sending the parameters of to do name, just the name. Okay. All right. So go to code. Go to urls.py and where is it? Here, delete to do, and when you go to the delete to do view, what it's doing is like it's same way, it's taking the name and it's getting the to do object. And what is this? Oh, okay. So when the to-do object does not exist, it returns none, and you should not call zero of none. So it's here, it's checking it's not none, or here it's simply checking that if to-do exists, and if to-do exists, then we are actually trying to delete the to-do. So how do you delete a to-do? To-do object dot delete and return HTTP response success. All right. So, all right. So one thing left before closing this project, like before calling this session as done, there is one thing left. That is to see the code of this main page. Okay. So how to say it? Oh, so it is actually there is no network call. Then how to test this? Like how to know where is the code for this path? It's a question, and you have 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. Okay. So did anyone find how to test where the code here is? Like I mean, where is the code of all this HTML logic of welcome to to-do app and all? Okay, so if you say that like this URL is empty, so the regular expression should be an empty string, then you guys got it right. So in the urls.py first version, here we are trying to match for an empty string, and we are pointing to an hello world view. Okay, so this hello world view is the view which is called when you actually load the page. And let's see what's there quickly. Okay, where is hello world? Okay, so it is having some HTML file, and it's a rendering chart. Remember at the starting we said like to render an HTML file, we need to call this render to response method, and we need to send the template name as the first argument. Now, a quick question: where can we find this template file? One option would be to search in the project directory for the template file, and the smarter way is to even more smarter way is to go to the settings.py, go to the templates section, uh, see the folder where it is actually looking for templates, and here you can see it is looking for templates in to project directory and in the templates directory. So this is a to project, and okay, inside the to project again it is looking for a to project directory, and okay, this is a to project directory, and in the to project directory it is looking for the templates folder. So okay, so here is the templates folder, and here we go. Here is the hello world.html. Okay, now you got how it's working. So when it calls the render to response, it takes the template name here, it goes to the settings.py, it checks all the, it takes all the directories where it need to check, mm, it goes to the directory and it, renders the file of hello world.html. Who? There is a lot of bunch of code here. 96 lines of code. Okay, but how can I confirm this is the code that is actually, being rendered? Ooh, okay. So here, welcome to To-Do app. Okay, what I can do is like, this is the code you are looking for. And can you put this in an H1 tag or H2 or a simple BR? So when you keep a BR tag, it just means in a new line, and BR tag doesn't require any close. So like I'm saving this file and I'm reloading. Oh yeah, see, this is the code you're looking for. So we are at the right path. So this is a HTML file which is actually generating, all this functionality. And okay, I'm just looking for, now we know the URL of get to dos and add to dos, and we are just about to, find this URL. Okay, so all right, so where is the URL? Okay, see here, $.ajax, it's a jQuery Ajax function, and it is calling the URL of get to dos and URL of add to dos and URL of delete to do. Okay, so this is how this whole project is working. Okay, and if you want to like get this project code, and if you want to work, if you want to run this local, and if you want to explore this code, here is the GitHub URL. So like GitHub Sanity Balaji to do app. Okay, so this is a project which we are working on. Like this is a project which we have developed actually. Okay, and there are two branches, master and Vue.js. Okay, so master points to the branch. Master contains the code of yesterday's version, like just return hello world one, and the Vue.js branch here contains the code of the entire code which we have gone through this, like this code. The whole working code is there in the Vue.js branch. Okay, so you can copy this URL, and I will even share this URL in the Discord channel and the WhatsApp channel for you to find easily. And that's it. Thank you guys, thank you for watching. And you can ask questions, any questions in the comments in this live stream video. And you can also talk to me in the Discord channel and the WhatsApp group if you are working on this OpenRank project. You can talk to me. Okay, thank you, thanks for watching, have a nice day.